This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts, Kevin Tucker and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic! What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show. Today is March 17th, 2025. Jonathan Osborne here. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Kevin Tucker. Kevin, the Magic coming off of quite possibly the biggest win of the year and getting able to record a show after that win. Feels pretty good. How are we doing?
Good. We said this was an opportunity to show the world what we're made of. By golly, they showed them something. I think not just the world. I think they showed Magic fans a little something today, myself included. So shout out to the Magic for a wild win in Cleveland, which we'll talk about obviously on the show. But yeah, doing well. Also got to hang out with you on Friday at among other people, not just you, but a lot of other people at Stadium Club, our watch party on Friday, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah,
talking about Sunday's game and kind of reminding us what this Magic team is capable of. And Paolo and Franz didn't really play all that well, and yet they have, you know, what you could say is the biggest win of the year. But yeah, going back to Friday night, we didn't get the result that we wanted in terms of the Magic losing to the Timberwolves, but having, you know, most of the squad out, you know, our team, and just, again, a fantastic venue. Can't say enough things about the staff. One at Caribe Royale, the resort, just fantastic, and they've been really great to us. And then the Stadium Club and the venue that's there, and obviously the entire, you know, wait and facility staff there, just the vibes, the food. Ton of people came out, like, surrounded by our whole team. It was just really was a great time. And Kev, this was your first time at Stadium Club. What were some of your thoughts?
It was awesome. Like, I obviously enjoyed it for the Magic watch party, but the other thing I was thinking about while I was there was, like, we got March Madness. We're in March Madness, but like the tournament tips off this week. I was like, I can picture myself posting up here on Thursday or Friday, the first 2 days of March Madness,
entire day,
just sitting there for 12 hours. I don't think they're open at noon. I don't think they open till dinner time, I believe, but I could be wrong on that. But as soon as they open, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever it is, just posting up for the next 7-8 hours. Just all the screens. You know, they got the 360 video board. They got some huge screens as well, and they got the TVs on the sidewalls, and just like, bro, just sign me up. That'd be a lot of fun. But yes, also for Magic games, it's a great place to go. And yeah, shout out to anyone and everyone who came out on Friday.
Was a great time. Speaking of great times, we are bringing back our Court of Dreams group night. So if you were part of that last year, where we got to play on the Kia Center floor, play pickup for 2 hours before last year when we hosted the Grizzlies. This year, it is going to be a little bit different. So Monday, March 31st, the Magic take on the Clippers. So that's going to be our official group night. But the Court of Dreams experience is actually going to happen the day before. So Sunday, March 30th from 12 to 2, we'll be there. So I'll be in town a couple of days that weekend. So there are still tickets available to that. The first 60 that purchase tickets, we're about halfway there right now. And this tends to go pretty quickly once we start pushing this out to the public. These tickets alone, are well over the price that we're getting for this event. So I think right now it's like somewhere between $109 and $130 a ticket, depending on what section you choose. And these are lower bowl seats for this Clippers game. So like regular retail is well above that. So not only are you getting access to the game, but you're getting like quite possibly a once in a lifetime opportunity to play pickup on the Kia Center floor. Ton of fun last year. Really looking forward to that. I've already started to get on the treadmill again a little bit. Got to have the cardio right. I don't think 2 weeks is going to be enough time for me to get to that, but you know, it is what it is. No better time to try to get your body in shape like the present. But yeah, anyways, if you all want to be part of this, it's going to be a fantastic time. You can head on over to fevo-enterprise.com/event/sixthman2. So that's Fevo, FEVO-enterprise.com/event/SIXTHMAN, and then the number 2. Get your tickets again. That's going to be March 30th. That's Sunday from 12 to 2. And then the next night will be at the Magic game when they take on the Clippers March 31st at 7 o'clock.
Let me just add really fast. Someone asked me, like, how much money do you guys make off of those tickets? Let me tell you, we make $0.00 off those tickets. We do not do these like group nights or anything for it. There is zero monetary gain in it for us at all. It is literally just an opportunity that we like to provide to people that watch and listen to the show. That, again, we're all about this community and giving the community an opportunity, not just to go attend a Magic game together, but in this case, also go play on the court. So super cool. We make $0 off of it. All right. This is not a business move. This is just a community move. And so I hope people take advantage of it. And I hope people can come out on the 30th and the 31st.
Looking forward to that. Very, very much. Been looking forward to that all year. Kev, let's get into the weekly state of the Magic. This week, the Magic went 2-2 with a loss to the Rockets on Monday, a win over the Pelicans on Thursday, a loss to the Timberwolves on Friday, and a huge, massive win on national TV over the Cleveland Cavaliers, who had won 16 games in a row prior to Sunday's game versus the Magic. Just a massive win. And the Magic finish up their 5-game road trip going 3-2, which is huge. I think we all would have taken that at the beginning of that road trip. Now sitting at 32-37 at the time of this recording, Sunday night. The Magic are 8th in the Eastern Conference right now, 5.5 games back of the 6th seed Detroit Pistons. Feels like they're a little bit out of reach at this point with 13 games to go for the Magic, but a half game back of the 7th seed Atlanta Hawks. It does seem like the Magic are destined for the play-in, but if they can get to the 7th seed, they only have to win one game to get into the playoffs, and they'll host the 7-8 game if they're the 7th seed. So we need to get ahead of Atlanta, and you have 2 games against Atlanta left on the schedule. Right now, we're 2 games up on the Miami Heat, who have lost 7 games in a row, and they're only a game up now on the Chicago Bulls. The Magic are 3 games up on Chicago, but the way that Miami has been playing, they're in real trouble, in real danger of being in that 10 seed.
So sad to see, by the way. You just hate to see it.
That. Ugh. The Magic on the season are 28th in offensive rating with an offensive rating of 107.8 and still 3rd in defensive rating. They are tied with Houston with a defensive rating of 109.3, and we are 17th in the league in net rating with a negative net rating of 1.5. Since the All-Star break, the Magic are 24th in offensive rating with an offensive rating of 110.5, but 10th in defensive rating with a defensive rating of 112.1 and 18th in overall net rating with a negative net rating of 1.6. Again, there are 13 games remaining on the Magic schedule. Taking a look at the injury report, Cole Anthony was available for Sunday's game. He's been dealing with that left big toe strain, but left in the first half, didn't play in the second half at all. Jalen Suggs, Mo Wagner, both of those guys, basically still out for the season. But Kev, a lot of basketball to talk about in this one. So let's go back first of all to Thursday, the big win over the New Orleans Pelicans. You had a 30-point lead at the half. Pelicans went on a little bit of a run, at the end of the third, start of the fourth. With that being the first night of a back-to-back, was kind of hoping that we wouldn't have to see a ton of Franz or a ton of Paolo Banchero in that fourth quarter. However, I think the lead got down to 18 or 17 at one point in that fourth. Those guys come back in, make a few plays, really close out the game. But for the most part, it was a pretty stress-free win. And I don't want to call it a statement win, but it was nice for the Magic to be on the winning end of a blowout for the first time in what felt like a pretty long time.
Yeah, a team you should beat, and glad they did. But like you said, to win convincingly is just not something this team has done a whole lot of over the last 2-3 months, no matter who they've played. But yeah, so to be able to do that, very important. And also, like at the time, it puts you, I guess that would have been 2-1 on the road trip, because you won the Milwaukee game, lost the Houston game, won this game. So that was positive. But yeah, for me, it ultimately was just about taking care of business. And this team did that, especially in that first half. I think it was like 68-38 at the half. I think the score was which is crazy on both ends. The Magic scoring 68 and only giving up 38. But yeah, I mean, a business-like performance, like you said, wish it would have still been around 30 going into that fourth quarter, because I think there's a chance that played into the following night against Minnesota, but we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, Paolo, Franz combining for quick math, 54 plus 7, 61 points ish. Yeah. In that game. And yeah, super efficient. Both shot the ball really well. And yeah, it was pretty much the difference in this game.
Paolo, team high, plus 32. So for the spreadsheet warriors out there, take that for data, as David Fisdale once said. Yeah, Paolo and Franz like really led the way, like you said, combined for 61 points. And hey, they get a little bit of help offensively. Contavious Caldwell-Pope, 12 points. Corey Joseph, 12 points on their way to, you know, a 20-point victory, which was a 30-point game for a good chunk of it. So Sunday's game, also further evidence that those guys don't even have to play all that well. If they get a little bit of help from their cast, can be competitive with anybody. But it was good just to, for the most part, I was like, chess is getting a little tight in the first few minutes of that fourth quarter. But then starters came back in, put an end to that game, and it was like, all right, it's good to just get a big W. And then we were looking forward to Friday, which obviously the second night of a back-to-back. This is a game that featured 12 lead changes. Orlando had as much of an 11-point lead. Minnesota had as much as a 10-point lead. So wasn't, you know, really a blowout in either direction for any part of the game. It was relatively close all the way through. But the Magic did have an 8-point lead early on in the fourth until Minnesota went on. I believe that was like a 13-0 run. Yeah, they took a 95-90 advantage later on in the fourth quarter. And it was close, but really like the last 3 minutes or so, the Magic just kind of fell apart. I know Anthony Edwards, you know, hit some big shots, but Magic also made some untimely, you know, mistakes on their end. And this one was one that really hurt to kind of get away from you, because you got a really big, unexpected 18-point performance from Caleb Houston, who was 6 of 8 from behind the arc. Paolo has 43 in this one, 16 of 32, 43-point double-double, added 10 rebounds. Tough Franz night. I know we'll talk about Sunday, but Franz, 16 points, 4 of 16 from the floor, 8 of 8 at the free throw line. So had 8 points straight from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 5 turnovers. Franz had another high turnover game on Sunday. I know we're going to talk about the Cavs game, but like this was the Paolo and Caleb Houston show, and this is kind of like anybody else shows up in this game, and the Magic also beat Minnesota, and right now are in the midst of a 3-game win streak, which we haven't seen since like the Obama administration, it feels like now. And you go 4-1 on the road trip. It was good to see the Magic second night of a back-to-back on the road against a quality opponent. It feels like we've gotten past like the darkest part of the season where the Magic were like getting blown out by Utah and like Portland and stuff like that. But they still are finding themselves in these situations where, again, you're up 8 in the fourth quarter on the road against a really good team, and then you allow a 13-0 run and find yourself down by 5. And then you have a chance in the closing minutes of the game, and you know, just a few defensive errors, a few miscues offensively, and you're not able to get this win. So this one hurt, did not feel good, but you have to like the way that the Magic competed on the second night of a back-to-back on the road, especially talking about the travel from New Orleans all the way to Minnesota, knowing that they had another big trip, you know, back across the country. I like the way that they played for the most part, but yeah, our 2 stars on the night, Paolo and Caleb, those guys get a little bit more help, and this could have been a big win.
Never thought I'd hear those words. If Caleb Houston got more help in this game, we would have won. That's a sentence that has never been spoken in the history of time. But yeah, no, it was a very tough game. The thing with Franz, and you could apply this to this game or to the Cavs game. When I watch Franz, even when he has tough nights like he has the last couple, I still feel like every possession is going to be the one that he snaps out of it. Like I'm not basically, because of how he carried this team in the first half of the season. Like, I know what Franz is capable of. We all do, obviously. And I just feel like any moment, like the next possession, that's the one where he's going to snap out of it. But that just hasn't happened over, you know, Friday and Sunday here. He's obviously in a serious rut. Like, and it's not just like he's missing the tough shots, you know, that he was hitting early in the season. No, he's missing like gimmies, like stuff for him that is automatic, especially at the rim. So I think it's a mixture of some good defense. I also think he's in his head a little bit, but regardless, like you said, Paolo, elite, 43 points. was really good on Friday. Caleb Houston, 6 of 8 from 3, had us going crazy at Stadium Club on Friday with all the Caleb threes. But yeah, outside of that, not a whole lot from anybody else. The rest of the bench was abysmal, I thought, in this game on Friday. And yeah, that ultimately led to what is definitely a disappointing loss for 2 reasons. One, because you have I think it was an 8-point lead going into the fourth quarter. You never want to lose an 8-point lead in the fourth quarter, right? Like, I know it's a long quarter, but I mean, you've worked so hard through 3 quarters to get there. But then the other reason is it was just such a winnable game. Like, the game was there for the taking. I didn't think Minnesota was that great. The Magic had a lot of opportunities to win it, and they just couldn't. So it feels like a game that was squandered by the Magic. But yeah, obviously glad they didn't let it bother them too much going into Sunday's game.
We take a break to bring you one of our favorite segments each week, the Jam Hot Chicken Jam of the Week. And this week's Jam of the Week coming on Sunday during the Magic's big win against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Going to take you back to the third quarter to the 5:41 mark. The Magic are down by 10. Paolo Banchero takes the guard screen from Corey Joseph, drives down the right-hand side of the lane, gets the attention from DeAndre Hunter and Jarrett Allen as Wendell Carter Jr. drives to the lane. Paolo Banchero dumps it off to Wendell, and Wendell jumps up and jams it down with the right hand, rocking the rim and giving the Magic a chance in that game and cut that lead to 8. That is this week's Jam Hot Chicken Jam of the Week. And we do have an honorable mention, which might have been the Jam Hot Chicken Jam of the Year had it gone down. Going back to the game against the Timberwolves on Friday to the 10:50 mark, Anthony Black drives down the left side of the lane, passes it to a cutting Caleb Houston, who goes up with 2 hands for the jam. But Dante DiVincenzo has other ideas in mind and blocks Caleb Houston at the rim. But Kevin, I couldn't even believe that Caleb was going to attempt a dunk.
Yeah.
I think he's the tallest player in the NBA that doesn't have a dunk in their career at this point. And yeah, I thought we were finally going to get the Caleb dunk, but it didn't happen.
Not just a dunk, but to try to dunk on somebody as his first dunk was wild. And yeah, if that had happened, that would have certainly been a candidate for Jam Hot Chicken Jam of the Year.
And the dude had, 6 threes at that point in the game, so he was definitely feeling himself. But talking about Jam, they are proudly serving the city beautiful, and Jam Hot Chicken is bringing Jam's culture and hot chicken to the heart of Winter Park. Jam Hot Chicken is a Nashville and LA-inspired hot chicken shack, locally owned and operated in Winter Park, located at 400 West New England Avenue, Suite 13 over there in Hannibal Square. Be sure to follow them at Jam Hot Chicken on all social media. Head on over to jamhotchickenfl.com. Access their menu, online ordering, and more. If you're in the area but you don't want to make the drive, you can even order Jam Hot Chicken on Uber Eats. So download the app to your phone. Get Jam Hot Chicken delivered right to your door. Kevin, I went to Jam Hot Chicken this week. This past Wednesday was in town with some buddies for a little bit of a golf trip. We were in Orlando on Wednesday, drove over to Jacksonville for the Players Championship on Thursday, played Metro West, met a listener. Shout out to Matthew Garfinkel, by the way, longtime listener. Met him at Metro West as I was leaving. But then we went over to Jam Hot Chicken. I had the box, had their wings, man. Oh my! I don't know if you had the chance to have their wings yet. Just everything over there is so freaking good. So again, shout out to our friends over at Jam Hot Chicken.
Never disappoints. 100 out of 100 every single time. It's so good. Also want to shout out, we got a new patron, Jonathan Linus, who joined at the rookie level, went all in, said annual rookie level, done. So yeah, shout out to Linus for joining our Patreon. We also want to shout out Magic Player History, our Improv 221, Michael Martin, Escoso Fresco, and Bo Outlaw's biggest fan. Those are 5 more of our patrons at the Hall of Fame and Elite tier level, whom we shout out every single episode, a handful of those. And so who are they? All these people, these are our patrons from patreon.com/The Six Man Show. These are people that financially support the work that we're doing here at The Six Man Show to grow this Orlando Magic fan community. We couldn't do all the things that we do without the amazing support of our patrons. They're the best, and we love them a lot, and we love them because they love this community. And so big shout out to all of our patrons. If you'd like to join our Patreon and support what we're doing, you can go to patreon.com/The Six Man Show and check out the different tiers that we have available. Each one comes with certain benefits, things like getting into our Discord, which is always super active, a bunch of Magic fans from all over the world talking about the Magic, among other things, but mainly about the Magic. Discord, monthly Zoom calls, all kinds of different things. And so again, if you want to be a part of that, you can go to patreon.com/The6Man Show. And now let's get back to this episode.
Yeah, just to speak a little bit to like the slump that Franz is having. Last 10 games, he's at 21.5 points, which is down from his almost 24.5 on the year. He's shooting 46% for the year. He's shooting 44% in these last 10 games, shooting 24% from three in these last 10 games. And if we go like even a little bit of a smaller sample size and more recently where the slump has felt more pronounced, 19 points per game out of Franz, 43% from the floor and 18% from behind the arc. So Franz definitely probably playing his worst basketball of the year, the last week and a half, which the way that, it was a little bit rough when he first came back from the injury, but almost looked right back to form after the first, week or so. So, not a great time to be having this slump, but like you said, like, especially, Sunday against Cleveland, I just felt like, okay, we're getting to the fourth quarter. Like Franz is going to turn it on, make big plays down the stretch. Felt the same way Friday against the Timberwolves, and that's just not happening right now. But I'm really not concerned. Like players go through slumps. We're going to get home, hopefully get a little bit of much needed rest for these guys. And hopefully pretty soon Franz will be right back to what we're used to. But yeah, Friday, definitely a tough loss. And then it was Sunday. For those of you who have not been aware, a couple weeks ago, about 10 days ago as we're recording this, the NBA announced that they were moving the Philadelphia and Dallas game from ABC on Sunday. They're putting the Magic and Cavaliers in that slot, which felt pretty crazy because Cleveland goes into this game on a 16-game win streak. And obviously the Magic have not been performing up to Magic fan standards, the last several months here.
And the last time these two teams played, they beat us by 40. I remind us, by the way,
on national TV, as well. So, felt like there was an opportunity for a get back game. Kevin did say on last Monday's episode that this was going to be an opportunity for the Magic to prove themselves to the country, in which we both kind of started laughing afterward, but dang it, they proved themselves to the country. I think they proved themselves to Magic fans, definitely to me, that they are still capable of being a really good team and beating really good teams. Franz and Paolo, they combined for, 14 of 41 from the floor in this game. 24 out of Paolo, but on 22 shots, 22 from Franz on 19 shots. Franz had 7 turnovers in this game. They were 4 of 14 combined from behind the arc. But guys like Wendell Carter Jr. with 16 points, 14 rebounds. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who had 15 points, 3 of 5 from behind the arc, added 2 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal. Anthony Black, one of the better games of Anthony Black's career, given the stakes and the moment and all that kind of stuff. 17 points, 3 of 3 from behind the arc, and every one of those threes were massive. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. His defense was really good for the better part of his minutes in this one. And a massive, miraculous, improbable 108-103 victory in Cleveland against what has been the best team in the league this year in the Cleveland Cavaliers. Hello, Orlando Magic. Welcome back. Just a massive game, massive win. I think it's the win of the year. We can talk about the Miami game. We can talk about the Boston game earlier in the year. But this, to me, this is like when I look back at this season, I think this will be the first win that I think about.
Here's what's so wild for me, because obviously I'm excited for this win. I was excited when it happened. We're sitting here 6 hours later after the game. I'm excited for it, but I honestly don't think we played that well. Like this wasn't even. It's not like we gave the Cavs everything we got and we just squeaked out a win, right? It's not like everything came together, right? It was a perfect storm, a perfect Magic game, and we beat the best team in basketball. To me, like, yeah, we squeaked out a win, but we didn't play that well, and we still found a way, right? It was very much in line with how we've come to recognize this team over the last couple seasons, right? Like, it's never pretty. It's never, in line with, I guess, the rest of the league right now with how teams are scoring and shooting the basketball. Like, that's not our identity. But we just find ways to win games, or at least we used to. And this felt very much in line with that. And so I think that's what kind of surprised me. I felt like coming into this game, like, the only way we win is if we play a perfect game, right? That was the mindset I had going into it. And again, walking away from it, I was like, that was not a perfect game. Like, we made a lot of mistakes. You talk about Franz and Paolo did not play well, right? Combining 9 turnovers, 7 of them for Franz. Like, this team turned the ball over 15 times. We did shoot the ball better than Cleveland. Hold that thought. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, that's the biggest takeaway for me is that, yeah, we won it, but that wasn't even our best shot. And we still were able to go to Cleveland and pull out a win.
Yeah. No, I mean, 3 for 3 from behind the arc from Anthony Black is huge. It feels like we get one of these Anthony Black games, like, every other week at this point. If this was the Anthony Black that we got even once every week, I feel like there'd be more of a consensus in the fan base around, how we feel about Anthony Black and how we feel about his future. And then Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, like 15 points, 3 of 5 from behind the arc. I feel like this is the type of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope game that we thought that we'd be getting at least, every other game from this guy when we sign him, right? Like, maybe not 3 of 5 from behind the arc, but 2 of 5 from behind the arc.
Yeah,
we don't even get those a ton. So
yeah.
And then Wendell Carter Jr. was fantastic. 16 points, 14 rebounds in this game. Now, there was no Evan Mobley, which who is going to start talking about injuries here with Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner and not Caleb Houston, Cole Anthony not really being in this game for the most part. But yeah, Paolo Franz didn't play well, and you got 3 guys, 15 points or more, and you go toe-to-toe with the best team in the league, who, I know you're going to talk about this, but didn't shoot the ball well. They were 10 of 40 from behind the arc. Sam Merritt, and they missed some good looks. Like, let's not get it twisted.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell was 3 of 14 from behind the arc, missed some ones that he typically makes. Max Strus, 1 of 4. DeAndre Hunter, 1 of 5. Sam Merrill, 1 of 7. Like, that possession where he got back-to-back wide-open corner looks, I couldn't believe that neither one of those fell.
Yeah.
But this is another game that featured a good amount of lead changes. 19 lead changes in this game, right?
Crazy.
And it took everything that the Magic had. I wouldn't say from necessarily like a performance aspect, but just staying level-headed and staying in the game. And you texted about this during the game, but just like the sense of belief, like getting down by 13 points, multiple points in this game, and each time having an answer. And then you go down a little bit in the last few minutes of this game, and then you're still able to find ways to make plays. Like Jared Allen has a dunk with 2 minutes left to give them a 3-point lead. And like most games this year, and especially the last couple of months, like that's where this game really takes a turn for the worst. But Franz is able to get to the free throw line, knock down a couple of shots. Strus hits a 3 to give them, the lead back. And then Paolo hits that, free throw line jumper with 45 seconds left to give the Magic 1-point lead. And that was really the difference. That play right there, they don't score again. That was effectively the game winner in this game. Now, KCP goes on, knocks down a couple of free throws to ice the game, and then they have to foul towards the end. Franz, knocks down a couple of free throws to really put it away. But, like the belief of this team against a team that looks a little bit different, but a team that they went toe-to-toe with and were, 20 minutes away from beating them in a playoff series last year, and a level that, they have at least a little bit of a level of, comfortability with. A lot of these guys have, played in that building almost more than any other, road arena around the league because of last year's playoff series. And it's not, it doesn't mean like we're going to turn the whole season around at this point. It doesn't mean, oh, we are contenders. Look at us. We're just as good as Cleveland. It doesn't mean that at all. But man, just like what a sigh of relief. And like, it felt really good to get a big win for the first time in what felt like a while.
I'm curious. You and I talked, it's probably been a couple weeks now on the show, about Cleveland or Boston. Did this game change your mind at all?
No.
That you'd still rather see Boston than Cleveland?
Oh, do you mean playing them?
In the playoffs, yes. In the
Because you
round,
and I,
the 7 or 8 seed, like if the Magic are the 7 seed, they play the Celtics. 8 seed, they're playing the Cavs. You said you'd prefer playing the Cavs. Or no, sorry, you said you prefer playing the Celtics, right? Because you were afraid of the double big of the Cavs.
If they have Evan Mobley, I do think this game is a lot different. I don't think that I feel super differently about that. And just like I'll pull it up, in a minute here, but like this is has to be one of the worst shooting games for Cleveland all year. And it wasn't
100% is.
It 100%
wasn't is.
I don't feel like it was 100% due to our defense. Like they just missed a lot of looks that I think they normally make.
That is absolutely correct, which is why I would still prefer to play them, because if they have a ton of shooters, and more often than not that works, but sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, you have a game like this on Sunday. And again, I know I would never pick the Magic to win a series against either of those teams. Obviously, I'm not crazy. But
yeah, they shoot
the Cavs
41 threes a game at 38.8%.
Yeah, if they get cold for a couple games, they got to go to Orlando for 2 or 3 games, depending on the length of the series. Like you never know. Although in Orlando is where they beat us by 40. But outside of that,
I would love nothing more for you to be able to roll this clip back 2 months from now and be like, "I told you so."
I would love that too. I don't think it's going to be the case, but like I think we get destroyed by either team. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm still trusting more in the Boston Celtics as a playoff team than I am the Cavs. So Cavs need to prove me wrong, and I think they probably can. But this game did not help sway me the other way. Like I'm still very much pro 8 seed playing the Cavs instead of 7 seed playing the Celtics.
The Celtics, they shoot 48 threes a game at almost 37%. Like, both of those teams, two of the best shooting teams. And I don't know, like you could talk me into us like matching up a little bit better with Boston just because they don't have that like double big lineup to go against.
Right.
And like the Franz and Paolo duo, I feel like matches up nicely with the Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum duo. Like the Cleveland's guards did not play well in this game at all.
Right.
But like our guards really couldn't until Anthony Black and Gary Harris came in the third. Those guys, like we've given Gary Harris a ton of crap this year, and we were even texting about how bad his defense has been this year. He was legitimately good in the third and fourth quarters defensively against Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland.
He was active. That's what I'll say. He also got blown by multiple times in this game.
100%. But that steal that he had on Mitchell and then that layup, like in the middle of that, what was like an 8-0 run for the Magic late in that third that helped give us the lead was absolutely massive. But yeah, like Darius Garland, 8 of 16, so he was fine. Donovan Mitchell, 9 of 28 from the floor. Like, and it felt like Darius Garland really could have done a lot more. He finishes this game with 19 points. But he was 8 of 16 from the floor. Like, felt like he could have hurt us a lot more than he did. But like, you look at the DeAndre Hunter and the Sam Merrill, like combining for 2 of 19. That kind of feels like, and Donovan Mitchell being 9 of 28. But like those guys shooting so poorly was a big factor in this one. I don't know. Like we're saying, you get blown out by either one of those teams. Like you're likely losing a series in 4 or 5 games against either one of these teams at this point. It's like legitimately pick your poison.
Right. Probably, yes. But again, it makes me think like who
and the Evan Mobley thing just really like
yes. Of
Paolo
course,
and Franz weren't great at this game in the rim or at the rim, regardless. Come on, dude, don't be gross.
I'm just sitting here. I'm talking basketball.
Somebody's going to comment about in the rim. Maybe that's the title of this pod. Who knows?
Oh.
Luke Sylvia is definitely going to say something about in the rim.
Yeah,
but neither one of them were great at the rim. You add Evan Mobley to this game, and like you swap out the Tristan Thompson minutes with more Evan Mobley, and I just don't like our
I
odds.
know.
This team, and it's not for a lack of ability that this team struggles with a rim protector. It's like something happens mentally when they see like a real shot blocker at the rim, and they just really defer. Like they don't even try a lot of times when we see guys like Anthony Davis or the other night with Rudy Gobert, who actually I feel like, the Magic did a good job of getting to the rim against. But some of these other guys, whether it be like an Evan Mobley or a Walker Kessler or like a Mitchell Robinson, we just seem to struggle with those kind of guys. So, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you're losing either one of those teams in a series.
Probably.
And right now it feels like you're and a lot of these teams that are sitting in the playoffs waiting, it's going to be Cleveland or it's going to be Boston. That's where we're at.
Well, can I throw a wrench in that too, really fast?
Please do.
So here's the deal. First off, I obviously wish the Magic had won on Friday. If the Magic beat the Minnesota Timberwolves on Friday, the Magic would be sitting 4.5 games back of the Detroit Pistons. So we're having a very different conversation today. As we sit, they are sitting 5.5 games back of the Pistons with 13 games to go. Okay. Very, very borderline impossible that the Magic can reach the 6th seed. But let me tell you how they could. Okay. First off, the Pistons, they have 14 games left versus the Magic's 13 games left. But the Pistons this week, they've got a pretty easy schedule, I guess. Pelicans, Miami, we just talked about they're a mess. Dallas is a mess. Pelicans again, they're a mess. So this week doesn't look very good. After that, there's some potential for movement, okay? San Antonio, Cleveland, Minnesota, Oklahoma City. That's the next week. That's a week they could go 0-4. And if they go 0-4 while the Magic are cooking a little bit at home of 5 of the next 7 games.
You think they could lose to San Antonio without Wemby, without De'Aaron Fox?
I probably not. But I said they could. They could go 0-4.
I don't
then
know, man.
Toronto, Memphis, Sacramento. But they end the season New York, Milwaukee, Milwaukee. All right. Milwaukee's fighting for their playoff lives. New York might not playoff lives, but playoff positioning. I'm just saying I'm out. Like the 6th seed is out of reach, but it's not fully out of reach. That's all I'm trying to say. Like it's still there. I'm hanging on by a thread.
Let me save you the heartbreak. It is Jover.
It is, but it also isn't. I don't hear a fat lady. Now the fat lady might start like this week. We'll see.
I'll go get a wig and start singing for you.
All right, we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to hang on for as long as I possibly can, because would you rather a 6-3 matchup with the Knicks, right, instead of dealing with the play-in? Yeah, okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm
but
hanging on.
a 6-3 matchup, and you might not have any type of home court advantage in the playoffs.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
That would suck real. Maybe I do want the play-in. Maybe I just kidding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like 13 games left for us, 14 for Detroit, and they're 5.5. Like, if they win 6 of their remaining 14, it's pretty much over, right? Like, and we almost have to like win out.
If they have to win to math, the magic number I think is 8 or 9 because we own the tiebreaker, I guess. But yeah, if they win 9 and we lose 9 or some combination of that, that's the magic number because they're on 37 wins and we have 13. So the maximum wins we can have is 45. Yeah. So it's 9 games or 9 losses for the Magic, which
the worst record they can have over that stretch then would be 4-10 or 5-9.
Right.
And we'd have to go
10-3.
10-3. Yeah. Just not. Yeah. Whatever you're doing, folks,
possible.
Don't be putting your money on that happening.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. But it's mathematically possible. That's all I'll say.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the week ahead, and then we can wrap this one up. Coming up this week, Monday, Tuesday off. Then the Magic are back home, so they get a couple days of rest. Sure, they're already back in Orlando as you and I are recording this. So Monday, Tuesday off. Might have a day of practice in there. We can take a look at that. But home on Wednesday versus the Rockets. Then they head to Washington on Friday to take on the Wizards. And that's it for this week. Then they'll have another 2 days off before they take on the Lakers on Monday, March 24th. the night that Dwight Howard is entering the Magic Hall of Fame, by the way. So I'm going to say 2-0 this week. You're home.
Ooh.
Need a little get back over the Houston Rockets. Coming off of a big win over the Cleveland Cavaliers, where this team has proven, hey, if we defend the way that we should, Paolo and Franz have a little bit of a get-back game, and we get some other nice performances out of some other guys, we can legitimately beat anybody. My last hope to make the rest of this season enjoyable is that the Magic take away from that game, like, this is who we can be every single night. We just need to defend, and we need the role guys to play with energy. If they can do that, and guys can freaking knock down shots, we can beat anybody. So I'm holding on to that belief, and then you should beat Washington legitimately no matter what.
Yeah, the Houston game, I know we talked about it. Oh, I didn't talk about it with you because Luke was on the last episode. But like that Houston game felt so winnable to me.
Yeah.
The one in Houston.
Yep.
Obviously, offensively, it was just a mess. And a lot of credit goes to Houston's defense. It's a very good defense. But it felt so winnable. And yeah, you feel like if you can bring it home, first off, you're playing at home, just get a couple more things going on offense, and I think you have a chance. I agree. I think after I just got done saying mathematically there's still a chance at the 6th seed, I can't sit here and say 1-1. So I'm going to say 2-0 as well. I
Kevin is picking the Magic to win every game the rest of the way.
That's right, 13-0. I will say this though: 5 of the next 7 are at home. But if you go beyond that, the next 9 games you play these are the teams you play among others, but you play Washington, Charlotte, Dallas, San Antonio, and Washington. 5 of those, 9 games? You're playing bottom feeders, right? Washington twice, worst team in basketball. Charlotte once. Charlotte lost by almost 40 tonight. Dallas is Dallas, right? San Antonio, you just mentioned, without Wembanyama, without De'Aaron Fox. I mean, there are wins sitting there just ready for this team. They got a couple tough ones in there. Houston, Lakers, Clippers, Kings, all those are at home. So if there's ever going to be a run, forget the 6th seed.
We also play the Clippers second night of a back-to-back when they play in Cleveland the day before.
Oh, love that.
So second night of a back-to-back, and so there's a chance that like we don't even see Kawhi Leonard in that game.
Yeah,
if he's even healthy at that point.
Also a second night of the back-to-back for you because you'll have the Court of Dreams on Sunday and then the game on Monday. So. Back-to-back for you, but we'll see how that goes.
No load management on this end, man. Yeah, I just kind of do what my team needs to do. I push through. I just try to be available as often as I can.
Love
that.
It's
not a job for the faint of heart, but it's honest work.
Okay. But again, all I have to say, I'm not talking about the 6th seed anymore. Whatever. Forget that. The point is momentum going into the postseason and momentum maybe going into next season. This is a prime opportunity. And I'll just say, let's see if the Magic can take advantage of it.
Yeah. Hey, if you are in Charlotte Tuesday, March 25th, you can get into that game for as little as $6. If you're going to be in San Antonio April 1st, you can get into that game for as little as $6. If you're going to be in D.C. April 3rd, you can get into that game for as little as $5.
We should just go on a little road trip. Let's hit all 3 of those.
Right. How many games can we go to for $13?
Yeah.
What would that be?
That would be kind of funny.
The answer is 3.
How many road games could we go to that would equal 1 game at Kia Center? That would be a fun game, right? Like
Kev, you were talking about the Pelicans, and I'm going to pull that up.
I wasn't going to put them on blast, dude, but I mean, if you want to,
they play Detroit tomorrow night. You can get into that game for $2.
Yep.
They play Philadelphia on the 24th. You can get into that game for $2. They play Charlotte on the 30th. You can get into that game for $3. They play Milwaukee on April 6th. You can get into that game for $2.
Milwaukee, Giannis Antetokounmpo. You can get in there for $2 to watch him play basketball. That's
in Milwaukee,
wild.
You can get into that game for $6. In Milwaukee with the Pelicans.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, what are you doing?
Like, for example, Wednesday's game versus Houston. That's a midweek game, at Kia Center, $53. So you could go to Charlotte for 6, plus San Antonio for 6, that's 12, plus Washington for 5, that's 17, plus Indiana for 11, that's 28, plus Atlanta at the end of the season for 15, that's 43. And we've got $10. We can buy a pretzel after that. So we can go to all those games plus a pretzel for the price of this Rockets game on Wednesday.
The get-in price for next Monday, Dwight going into the Magic Hall of Fame, the get-in price right now is $185.
Oh yeah, the ticket price $185 is definitely for the Dwight Hall of Fame. Definitely has nothing to do with Luka or LeBron.
Well, I think it's probably gone up a little bit since
I'm just kidding.
Since that was announced. Maybe they got promenade seats for $196. I mean, you're legitimately, if you go to that game, it could possibly be the last time that you see LeBron. Right? Like, who knows? Like, next season, if he's injured when they're in town or whatever. Like, and actually, he's supposed to be out for another week. So you might be paying that and not seeing LeBron at all. That would be kind of tough.
Yeah.
Okay. Rough. Well, 2-0 this week. I think we're both on track with that. Kev, anything else before we go ahead and sign off from this one?
I don't think so. No. Yeah, let's see what can happen. 13 games to go. It's been miserable. It's been such a miserable season. Lots of fun, but the last 2 months have been rough. But hey, turn it around the last month, and we'll see what we can do.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Again, Court of Dreams night, March 30th. We're playing on the Kia Center floor from 12 to 2. And then the next night, March 31st, that Monday, Magic versus the Clippers. Right now, I'm looking at it. Tickets as low as $109.75. So way cheaper than going to that Lakers game. And you get to go see an LA team, and you get to play on the Kia Center floor the day before and hang out with us and hang out with us the night of that game and sit with us and cheer on the Orlando Magic. So if you want to play on the Kia Center floor, you want to come to that game with us, again, head on over to fevo-enterprise.com/event/sixthman2. So that's fevo-enterprise.com/event/sixthman and then the number 2. Looking forward to that. Hope to see you all there. But that is going to do it for this episode. For Kevin Tucker, this has been Jonathan Osborne. You all have been listening to The Sixth Man Show, and we will catch you guys next time. See ya.
Thanks for listening to The Sixth Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Spotify to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the show a lot. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sixth Man Show. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic!